In a world full of chaos, distractions, and emotional triggers, staying calm is not just a skill, it's a profound practice of mindfulness. When everything around you is falling apart, your ability to maintain control over your emotions can mean the difference between inner peace and inner turmoil. But here's the wisdom from Buddhism. Calmness is not an innate trait. It is a state of mind that you can cultivate through practice and awareness. As the Buddha said, the mind is everything. What you think, you become. In today's video, we'll explore 8 powerful Buddhist teachings that will show you how to train your mind to stay calm, no matter what life throws at you. By the end of this video, you'll have the spiritual tools and insights to master your inner peace and face life's challenges with a serene and centered mind. 1. Breathe to command your mind. Your breath is the anchor of your mind. In moments of stress or anxiety, your breathing becomes shallow and erratic, which can amplify feelings of panic. To command your mind and regain control, focus on deep, intentional breathing. Inhale slowly through your nose, allowing your abdomen to rise, hold for a few seconds, and then exhale slowly through your mouth. This deliberate practice sends signals to your brain that you are safe, calming your nervous system. The more you practice mindful breathing, the easier it becomes to access this state of calm when you need it most. Each breath becomes a reminder that you have the power to ground yourself. Over time, this technique creates a space of calmness within you, even in the face of chaos. 2. Emotionally detach and take control. Emotional detachment is not about becoming cold or indifferent. It's about not letting your emotions control you. When you encounter stressful situations, emotions like anger, fear, or frustration can cloud your judgment. Train your mind to observe these emotions without becoming attached. Imagine you are watching your emotions as if they are on a screen in front of you. By viewing them from a distance, you give yourself the power to choose your response rather than reacting impulsively. This detachment allows you to stay calm, clear-headed, and in control. It's like being the calm eye in the middle of an emotional storm. The more you practice this, the more you gain mastery over your emotional world. 3. Reframe challenges as opportunities. Life is filled with challenges, but how you perceive them can drastically alter your state of mind. Instead of viewing obstacles as threats or sources of stress, reframe them as opportunities for growth and learning. When faced with a difficult situation, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Or, how can this make me stronger? By shifting your mindset in this way, you transform challenges into stepping stones, allowing you to remain calm and proactive rather than overwhelmed. This mental shift opens up possibilities where there once seemed to be only roadblocks. It turns stress into a catalyst for your personal evolution, helping you to approach life with a sense of curiosity rather than fear. 4. Focus on control. Release the rest. Much of our stress comes from trying to control things that are beyond our power. Buddhism teaches the importance of focusing on what you can control and releasing your attachment to the rest. When you find yourself in a stressful situation, take a moment to identify what aspects are within your control. Direct your energy toward these elements and let go of the need to change what you cannot. This practice frees your mind from unnecessary worry and creates space for peace and clarity. It's like letting go of heavy baggage you've been carrying unnecessarily. This release allows you to use your energy more efficiently, fostering a sense of calm amidst uncertainty. 5. Master daily. Mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in the here and now. It's easy to get lost in thoughts about the past or worries about the future, but these only serve to unsettle your mind. Incorporate mindfulness into your daily routine by paying full attention to whatever you are doing, whether it's eating, walking, or even washing dishes. When your mind starts to wander, gently bring it back to the present. Over time, this practice strengthens your ability to remain calm and centered, no matter what circumstances arise. Each mindful moment becomes a training ground for your mind, teaching it to find peace in the present. The more you practice, the more this calm presence becomes your natural state. 6. Visualize calm to conquer stress. Visualization is a powerful technique used in Buddhism to cultivate a deep sense of inner peace and tranquility. It is not just a fleeting mental escape. It's a practice of intentionally creating a mental environment that fosters calmness and serenity. When stress begins to creep in, take a moment to close your eyes and envision a place where you feel completely at ease and safe. This place could be a serene beach with the gentle sound of waves lapping against the shore, the sun warmly embracing your skin, and the fresh scent of salty sea air filling your lungs. Alternatively, it could be a quiet forest where the soft rustle of leaves in the wind, the occasional chirping of birds, and the cool, earthy aroma of the woods surround you. The key is to choose a setting that resonates with you personally, a place that brings you an undeniable sense of peace. Now immerse yourself in this scene fully. Don't just see it. Experience it with all your senses. Hear the subtle sounds that accompany this environment, like the rhythmic crashing of waves, the distant call of a bird, or the whisper of the wind through the trees. Feel the textures under your feet, whether it's the warm, grainy sand between your toes or the soft, mossy forest floor. Notice the temperature of the air and how it feels on your skin, whether it's the gentle warmth of the sun or the cool shade beneath a canopy of leaves. Take in the smells that fill the air, perhaps the salty tang of the ocean, the rich scent of pine needles, or the sweet fragrance of blooming flowers. Visualize every detail vividly, allowing yourself to become completely absorbed in this mental sanctuary. As you deepen this visualization, you'll notice a shift within your body and mind. Your breathing naturally slows down, your muscles begin to relax, and your heart rate steadies. This process triggers your body's relaxation response, helping to reduce the physical manifestations of stress, such as tension in your shoulders or a racing heartbeat. By transporting yourself to this mental retreat, you create a psychological distance from the stresses in your life. This distance allows your mind to reset, giving you the space to approach challenges with a clearer, calmer mindset. With consistent practice, this mental visualization becomes a powerful tool in your stress management arsenal. Simply recalling this peaceful imagery in moments of tension can trigger a calming response in your body, almost like pressing a mental reset button. You can use this technique anywhere, whether you're at work, in a crowded space, or lying awake at night. The beauty of this practice lies in its accessibility. Your mental sanctuary is always within reach, ready to offer you solace whenever life becomes too hectic. This place in your mind is not just an escape, but a reminder of the peace that resides within you, waiting to be tapped into whenever needed. 7. Create your calming ritual. Rituals have an incredible power to ground us and provide a sense of stability, especially in times of stress and uncertainty. In Buddhism, rituals are often used to cultivate mindfulness and bring the mind into a state of calm and focus. Creating your own calming ritual can act as a personal anchor, helping you return to a state of tranquility whenever you feel overwhelmed. This ritual doesn't have to be elaborate. In fact, simplicity can often be more effective. The key is consistency and intention, making it a sacred practice that signals to your mind and body that it's time to shift into a calmer state. Your calming ritual can be anything that resonates with you and brings a sense of peace. For some, it might involve lighting a candle and watching the gentle flicker of its flame. As you do this, focus on the warmth and the soft light it casts, letting the glow soothe your senses. Others might find comfort in brewing a cup of tea, savoring the process from start to finish. Pay attention to the sound of the water boiling, the aroma of the tea leaves, and the warmth of the cup in your hands. This ritual can become a moment of mindfulness, where every action is performed with full awareness and presence. Another effective calming ritual could be sitting quietly for a few minutes in meditation. You might choose a specific spot in your home that feels comforting and serene, a corner with a cushion, a spot by the window, or even a cozy chair. As you sit, close your eyes and focus on your breath, allowing your mind to settle. In this space, you might also incorporate elements such as soft music, gentle stretching, or repeating a calming mantra like, "I am at peace," or "This too shall pass." The important aspect of a calming ritual is that it becomes a consistent part of your routine, a safe haven you can return to whenever the chaos of life begins to encroach on your inner peace. Over time, this ritual becomes a powerful mental cue. Your mind starts to associate this ritual with calmness and safety, so much so that merely initiating the ritual can begin to soothe your nerves. It's like creating a mental pathway to tranquility. The more you walk this path, the more accessible it becomes. In moments of high stress, this ritual serves as a reset button, allowing you to break free from the grip of anxiety and return to a state of calm. This practice is not just about the ritual itself, but about the intention behind it. It's a way of telling yourself, "I am taking this time to care for my mental and emotional well-being." It becomes a moment of self-compassion and self-care, reminding you that amidst all the demands of daily life, you deserve moments of peace. By honoring this ritual, you cultivate a habit of returning to stillness, making calmness not just a fleeting state, but a part of your daily existence. 8. Build emotional resilience through acceptance. Emotional resilience is the ability to bounce back from life's challenges, and at the core of this resilience lies the principle of acceptance. In Buddhism, acceptance is seen as a powerful tool for cultivating inner peace. It is the practice of acknowledging reality as it is, without resistance or judgment. This doesn't mean passively resigning to your circumstances or giving up on change. Instead, it means recognizing the situation, emotions, or challenges in front of you without letting them disrupt your inner calm. Acceptance is about facing the truth of the moment with openness, rather than allowing it to cause internal conflict. Life is inherently unpredictable. No matter how much we try to plan or control our circumstances, things will not always go as we hope. This is where acceptance becomes essential. When you embrace the reality that some things are beyond your control, you free yourself from the futile struggle against them. Imagine you're caught in a storm. Fighting against the wind and rain only exhausts you, while seeking shelter and accepting the storm's presence allows you to conserve your energy and find peace. Acceptance is your mental shelter. It's the understanding that while you may not control the storm, you can control how you respond to it. Building emotional resilience through acceptance starts with acknowledging your emotions without becoming overwhelmed by them. When you face a difficult situation, rather than immediately reacting or suppressing your feelings, take a moment to simply observe them. Notice what you're feeling, whether it's anger, sadness, fear, or frustration, and allow yourself to experience these emotions without judgment. Acknowledge them as a natural part of being human. By accepting your emotions as they are, you create a mental space where you can process them healthily rather than letting them control you. This practice helps you develop a more balanced emotional response over time. Acceptance also involves letting go of the need for things to always go a certain way. Often, our suffering comes from clinging to how we think things should be, instead of seeing them as they are. When we become attached to specific outcomes, we set ourselves up for disappointment and inner turmoil when reality does not match our expectations. By practicing acceptance, you learn to let go of these rigid expectations. Instead of resisting what is happening, you adapt and flow with life's circumstances. This doesn't mean you don't strive for positive change or improvement. It means you do so with a flexible mindset, understanding that life is a series of unpredictable events. Acceptance extends to the understanding that pain and suffering are part of the human experience. In Buddhism, this concept is encapsulated in the Four Noble Truths, which acknowledge that suffering is an inherent part of life. By accepting this truth, you can find a sense of peace even in the midst of hardship. You realize that experiencing pain does not mean something is wrong with you or your life. It's simply a part of the journey. This understanding allows you to face challenges with a sense of grace and strength, rather than feeling defeated by them. Acceptance is not about complacency. It's about recognizing what is within your control and what is not, and responding to life's challenges with wisdom and equanimity. It empowers you to act from a place of calm and clarity, rather than from a state of emotional reactivity. For instance, if you encounter a setback, instead of dwelling on the unfairness of the situation or being paralyzed by disappointment, you can accept the reality of what has happened. From this place of acceptance, you can then decide on the best course of action moving forward. This proactive approach enables you to navigate life's ups and downs with a resilient spirit. Incorporating acceptance into your daily life builds a strong foundation of emotional resilience. When faced with difficulties, remind yourself that resisting the reality of the situation only adds to your suffering. Instead, take a deep breath and accept the moment as it is. With practice, you will find that this acceptance becomes second nature, allowing you to maintain your inner calm even in the most challenging circumstances. Acceptance transforms your relationship with life's struggles, turning them into opportunities for growth and deeper understanding. By practicing acceptance, you create a mental and emotional environment where peace can flourish regardless of external circumstances. This inner peace is the essence of emotional resilience. It means that while life may throw storms your way, you have cultivated the strength to stand firm, to bend without breaking, and to remain grounded amidst it all. Through acceptance, you become like the calm, deep ocean, steady and serene, even when the surface is turbulent. 9. Master daily. Mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in each moment, experiencing life as it unfolds without judgment or distraction. In Buddhism, mindfulness is a core practice for cultivating a calm and peaceful mind. It involves bringing your full attention to your current experience, whether it's the taste of your morning tea, the sensation of your breath moving in and out, or the emotions you feel during a difficult conversation. By training your mind to remain focused on the present, you create a buffer against the anxiety that often arises from dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. The practice of mindfulness starts with small, deliberate actions. Begin by dedicating a few minutes each day to mindfulness meditation. Find a quiet place, sit comfortably, and focus on your breath. As you breathe in and out, notice the sensations of the breath entering and leaving your body. Thoughts will inevitably arise, but instead of getting caught up in them, simply acknowledge their presence and gently bring your focus back to your breath. This process of redirecting your attention trains your mind to observe thoughts and emotions without being overwhelmed by them. Over time, this practice strengthens your ability to stay grounded and calm, even when life becomes chaotic. Mindfulness is not limited to meditation. It can be integrated into every aspect of your daily life. When you eat, do so mindfully. Pay attention to the texture, flavor, and aroma of each bite. Notice the colors on your plate and the sensation of food as you chew and swallow. When you walk, feel the ground beneath your feet, the rhythm of your steps, and the movement of your body. Even mundane tasks like washing dishes or brushing your teeth can become opportunities for mindfulness. By fully engaging with these activities, you transform them from routine tasks into moments of calm awareness. This practice of mindfulness helps you break free from the automatic reactions that often lead to stress. For example, if you encounter a stressful situation at work, instead of immediately reacting with frustration or anxiety, mindfulness allows you to pause and observe your internal response. You become aware of the tension in your body, the racing thoughts in your mind, and the emotions bubbling up. This awareness creates a space between stimulus and response, a moment where you can choose how to act rather than being swept away by automatic reactions. This pause is where calmness is cultivated. As you practice mindfulness consistently, you begin to notice patterns in your thoughts and behaviors. You may become aware of how often your mind wanders into negative thinking or how certain situations trigger stress responses. With this awareness, you can start to address these patterns, choosing more constructive ways to respond. For instance, if you notice that you often worry about things beyond your control, you can gently remind yourself to refocus on the present moment. This shift in focus not only reduces anxiety, but also enhances your ability to deal with challenges more effectively. Mindfulness also deepens your connection with the present moment, allowing you to experience life more fully. In our fast-paced world, it's easy to rush through life on autopilot, missing the subtle joys and beauty around us. By practicing mindfulness, you learn to slow down and appreciate the simple moments, like the warmth of the sun on your face, the sound of rain tapping against the window, or the quiet contentment of sitting with a loved one. These moments become a source of peace and contentment, helping to balance the stresses of daily life. Mindfulness fosters a sense of self-compassion. As you become more aware of your thoughts and feelings, you learn to treat yourself with kindness and understanding, rather than criticism and judgment. When you face difficulties or make mistakes, mindfulness encourages you to acknowledge these experiences without harsh self-criticism. Instead of getting caught up in negative self-talk, you can gently remind yourself that it's okay to feel what you're feeling and that you are human. This compassionate attitude towards yourself creates an inner environment of calmness and acceptance, reducing the mental turmoil that often accompanies stressful situations. Incorporating mindfulness into your daily routine does not require drastic changes. It can be as simple as taking a few deep breaths before starting your day, taking a mindful walk during lunch, or setting aside a few minutes for meditation before bed. The key is consistency and intention. With regular practice, mindfulness becomes a natural part of your life, a mental state you can tap into whenever you need to find calm amidst the storm. By applying these 8 powerful lessons, you can train your mind to stay calm in any situation. Remember, calmness is not a destination, but a skill you cultivate over time. As you practice these teachings, you'll find that your inner peace becomes unshakable, no matter what life throws your way. If you found these lessons valuable, please like, share, and subscribe for more insights on mindful living. Until next time, embrace your calm and live fully present. In a world where attachment to appearances, opinions, and approval seems to dominate, have you ever stopped to ask yourself, why am I so attached to what others think? Why do I allow their judgments to create suffering in my mind and distance me from inner peace? Buddhism teaches us a profound truth. Much of our suffering comes from clinging, whether to others' opinions, fleeting desires, or the illusion of control. And here's the liberating realization. Nobody truly cares as much as you think they do. Why? Because they too are caught in the cycle of their own attachments, their own struggles, and their own desires. When you let go of the need for validation, when you release the grasping for approval, you begin to find freedom. This is the essence of the Dharma, learning to detach from the external and focus on cultivating inner peace, wisdom, and compassion. True happiness arises not from pleasing others, but from aligning with the path that leads to liberation and awakening. 1. Stop seeking validation. One of the greatest obstacles to personal freedom is the need for validation. We often live our lives seeking approval from others, whether it's through social media, likes, compliments, or recognition. But validation from others is like a cup with a hole in the bottom. No matter how much you pour into it, it will never stay full. The Buddha's teachings remind us to seek approval only from within. He once said, "Be a light unto yourself." This doesn't mean rejecting all feedback or relationships. Rather, it means grounding your sense of self-worth in your own values, not in the opinions of others. When you rely on external validation, you give others the power to control your happiness. But when you validate yourself, you reclaim that power. Ask yourself, am I living in alignment with my values and principles? If the answer is yes, that's all the validation you need. Stop looking outward for approval and start focusing inward on living a life of integrity and purpose. 2. Take responsibility for your life. It's easy to blame others or external circumstances for the difficulties in our lives. We might say, if only this person acted differently, or if only I had more money, a better job, or a different background, my life would be better. But the truth is, waiting for external changes keeps you stuck. The Buddha said, "No one saves us but ourselves. No one can and no one may. We ourselves must walk the path." Taking responsibility for your life means accepting that you have the power to shape your thoughts, actions, and decisions. This doesn't mean you're to blame for every hardship, but it does mean you have the ability to choose how you respond. Life will always have challenges, but how you face them determines your growth. Consider this. Every small decision you make today, whether it's choosing to learn something new, practicing kindness, or letting go of a toxic habit, creates the life you'll have tomorrow. The power is in your hands. Take full ownership of your life, and you'll discover that you're capable of far more than you ever imagined. 3. Focus on growth. Growth is a central theme in Buddhism. It's not about reaching a final destination or achieving perfection. It's about the ongoing process of becoming a better version of yourself. The Buddha taught that comparing yourself to others leads to envy and dissatisfaction. Instead, he encouraged us to focus on our own journey and measure growth by how we overcome our personal struggles. Ask yourself, what small steps can I take today to move closer to the person I want to become? Growth doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it's the quiet moments, choosing patience instead of anger, practicing gratitude instead of complaining, or spending time in meditation that lead to profound change over time. Focusing on growth also means embracing mistakes. Every failure is an opportunity to learn, adapt, and improve. Rather than fearing failure or judgment, view challenges as stepping stones to greater wisdom and strength. The journey of growth is lifelong, and every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. 4. Block out the noise. The world around us is noisy. Everywhere we turn, there are opinions, criticisms, and distractions. We're bombarded with messages telling us who we should be, how we should look, and what we should do. But the truth is, most of this noise is irrelevant to your path. In Buddhism, mindfulness teaches us to focus our attention on the present moment and let go of distractions. Ask yourself, does this thought or opinion truly matter to my goals and peace of mind? If the answer is no, let it go. Not every piece of advice or criticism deserves your attention. Blocking out the noise also means setting boundaries. Protect your energy by limiting time spent with people or situations that drain you. Choose to surround yourself with individuals who support and inspire you, not those who add to the chaos. When you focus on your own voice instead of the world's chatter, you'll find clarity and purpose. 5. Your freedom. Nobody cares, so live your life. Many of us live as if we're constantly under a spotlight, imagining that others are watching our every move, forming judgments about what we do, how we look, and how successful we are. This mindset can be paralyzing. It leads to overthinking, hesitation, and fear of failure because we're so concerned about what others might think. But here's the truth, a truth that is both freeing and transformative. Nobody cares as much as you think they do. Most people are far too absorbed in their own lives to give your actions more than a fleeting thought. They're busy dealing with their own worries, ambitions, insecurities, and responsibilities. While they might notice something you do, it's usually brief and soon forgotten. This is not to say that your life doesn't matter, or that your experiences aren't important. Rather, this realization is meant to liberate you from the heavy weight of constantly seeking validation and fearing judgment. Think about it. How much time do you spend worrying about what others might think of you? How often do you hold back from pursuing something meaningful because you're afraid of being criticized or misunderstood? Maybe you've hesitated to try a new career, start a business, wear what you love, or express your true thoughts because of the imagined reactions of others. But the truth is, these fears are mostly in your head. People are not as focused on you as you believe. When you internalize this truth, a whole new level of freedom becomes available to you. When you realize that nobody cares as much as you think, you stop living your life to meet others' expectations. You stop modifying your dreams, goals, and behaviors just to fit into a mold that someone else might find acceptable. Instead, you start to live for yourself. You gain the courage to make choices that align with your own values, passions, and sense of purpose. You stop holding back, fearing judgment or rejection, and begin to pursue the life you truly want. This shift in perspective also opens the door to taking risks. So often, we avoid stepping out of our comfort zones because we're afraid of failing in front of others. But when you realize that most people are too preoccupied with their own challenges to care much about your failures, you start to see failure differently. It becomes a learning experience, not a source of shame. You become free to try, fail, and try again, because you understand that the imagined audience in your head doesn't actually exist. Living your life for yourself doesn't mean you disregard others or act selfishly. It's not about ignoring your responsibilities or relationships. Instead, it means honoring your own dreams and values while maintaining a balance with your commitments to others. It's about letting go of the need for constant approval and trusting yourself to make the best decisions for your life. By prioritizing your authentic self, you also set an example for others to do the same. This freedom, this ability to live authentically, is yours to claim. It has always been within your reach, waiting for you to realize that you don't need anyone else's permission to live a meaningful life. It starts with letting go of the imaginary critics in your mind. These critics often represent our fears, insecurities, or societal conditioning, but they don't define who you are or what you're capable of achieving. Imagine the possibilities when you no longer live under the burden of what others might think. You can pursue the career you've always dreamed of, speak your truth without fear of judgment, and take bold steps toward personal growth. You can embrace the hobbies, relationships, and lifestyle that bring you joy, regardless of whether they meet someone else's idea of success. The key to living a fulfilling life is not in convincing others of your worth. It's in knowing your own worth and living in alignment with it. When you stop worrying about what others think, you reclaim the energy that was once wasted on doubt and hesitation. You can redirect that energy into building a life that feels true to you. Let this realization set you free. Most people are too wrapped up in their own concerns to dwell on yours. They're not watching you as closely as you imagine. This doesn't make your life any less valuable. It simply means you have the freedom to define it on your own terms. Step boldly into the life you want to create. Take risks, make mistakes, and learn from them. Live with authenticity and confidence, knowing that your path is yours to walk. The opinions of others don't define you. Your actions, courage, and choices do. So let go of the fear and start living for yourself. 6. You are responsible for your happiness. Happiness is something we all seek, yet many of us mistakenly place the responsibility for it in the hands of others or in external circumstances. We think, I'll be happy when I have a better job, when I'm in a relationship, when people respect me, or when I achieve this or that goal. But here's the truth. Happiness doesn't come from the outside. It is created within, and you are the one responsible for it. Buddhist teachings emphasize that happiness is a state of mind, not a result of external achievements or possessions. The Buddha said, "Happiness does not depend on what you have or who you are. It solely relies on what you think." This means that no matter your situation, your mindset determines whether you experience peace and contentment. If you rely on external factors like the approval of others, material success, or perfect circumstances, you'll always be chasing happiness but never truly grasping it. Why is this so? External factors are temporary and constantly changing. A new job might bring joy for a while, but over time the excitement fades and you're left wanting more. A relationship can bring love and support, but it can't shield you from life's inevitable challenges or guarantee constant happiness. People might praise you today, but tomorrow they could criticize you. Pinning your happiness on these unstable things means you're always at the mercy of forces beyond your control. The good news is that true happiness comes from within, and this is something you can cultivate. Taking responsibility for your happiness means understanding that it's not the world's job to make you happy. It's not your partner's job, your friend's job, or society's job. It's yours. This might feel daunting at first, but it's actually empowering. It means you have the ability to create joy and peace for yourself, no matter what's happening around you. Start by looking inward. Ask yourself, what truly brings me joy? What makes me feel fulfilled? Often, it's not the big, flashy things we think will make us happy, but simple, meaningful moments. Spending time with loved ones, expressing gratitude, pursuing a passion, or simply being present in the moment. Buddhist teachings encourage mindfulness, being fully aware of and appreciating the present, as a key to happiness. When you practice mindfulness, you learn to find beauty and joy in even the smallest things: a warm cup of tea, a kind word, or the feeling of the sun on your skin. Gratitude is another powerful tool. When you focus on what you already have instead of what you lack, you shift your perspective and cultivate contentment. Instead of thinking, "I'll be happy when," try appreciating the blessings in your life right now. Gratitude trains your mind to see the positive, even in challenging times. Self-compassion is equally important. Too often, we're our own harshest critics, judging ourselves for every mistake or perceived shortcoming. But happiness grows when we treat ourselves with kindness and understanding. Accept that you're human, that you'll make mistakes, and that you're worthy of love and happiness just as you are. Self-compassion allows you to find peace within, regardless of external circumstances. Taking responsibility for your happiness also means letting go of the idea that life has to be perfect for you to be content. Challenges and hardships are inevitable, but they don't have to rob you of joy. Buddhism teaches that suffering is a natural part of life, but our response to it is what matters. By facing difficulties with resilience and a calm mind, you can maintain a sense of peace even during tough times. It's important to recognize that taking responsibility for your happiness doesn't mean you have to do it all alone. Seeking support from loved ones, pursuing therapy, or turning to spiritual practices are all valid ways to nurture your well-being. But the key is understanding that these tools can only guide and support you. They can't create happiness for you. That is your job. When you take ownership of your happiness, you free yourself from dependency on others and circumstances. You stop waiting for someone or something to make you feel fulfilled, and instead actively create a life that brings you joy. This doesn't mean you'll never feel sad, frustrated, or disappointed. Those emotions are natural and part of the human experience, but when you're responsible for your happiness, you can navigate those moments with grace, knowing that your inner peace is not tied to external events. Happiness is not a destination or something you acquire. It's a practice. It's a way of living, thinking, and being. Each day you have the choice to focus on gratitude, self-compassion, and mindfulness. Each day you can decide to find joy in the present moment rather than waiting for something in the future. Take responsibility for your happiness, and you'll discover that it was within your power all along. 7. Impermanence makes everything temporary. One of the most profound teachings of Buddhism is the concept of anicca, or impermanence. It reminds us that everything in life, whether it's joy or sorrow, success or failure, praise or criticism, is temporary. This truth is not meant to dishearten you. Rather, it's a powerful tool to help you let go of attachment and embrace the flow of life with grace and peace. Think about the many experiences in your life. The happiest moments, like celebrations, successes, or achievements, likely brought you immense joy. But did those feelings last forever? Probably not. Over time, the excitement faded and life continued. The same is true for difficult moments, such as heartbreak, loss, or failure. At the time, they may have felt overwhelming, but eventually they softened and you moved forward. This is the nature of impermanence. Everything is in a state of constant change, and nothing lasts forever. Understanding impermanence can be incredibly liberating. First, it helps you realize that no matter how challenging your current situation may seem, it will not last forever. Pain, grief, and hardships are part of the human experience, but they are not permanent. When you accept this, you can endure difficulties with greater resilience, knowing that better days will come. On the other hand, impermanence also teaches us not to cling too tightly to the good moments. Joy, success, and love are all fleeting. This doesn't mean you shouldn't enjoy them. In fact, it's the opposite. Knowing they won't last forever allows you to fully appreciate and savor them while they're here. Instead of worrying about when they might end, you can immerse yourself in the present moment, cherishing it for what it is. Impermanence also invites us to let go of attachments. In Buddhist philosophy, attachment is a major source of suffering. When we cling to people, possessions, or experiences, we set ourselves up for pain because inevitably those things will change or fade. For example, if you tie your happiness to a specific relationship, career, or material possession, what happens when it's gone? You feel lost and empty. But when you embrace the truth of impermanence, you learn to enjoy these things without becoming dependent on them. You can love deeply, work passionately, and celebrate wholeheartedly. But when the time comes to let go, you can do so with peace. Accepting impermanence doesn't mean you stop caring or become detached from life. It means you live with greater awareness and intention. You recognize that each moment is unique and fleeting, so you treat it as precious. You stop taking things for granted and begin to see the beauty in the ordinary, the laughter of a loved one, the colors of a sunset, or the simple pleasure of a quiet moment. This understanding can also change the way you view others. When you realize that people, like all things, are impermanent, you may find yourself being more compassionate and forgiving. Conflicts and misunderstandings lose their sting when you see them as temporary. You may also feel a deeper appreciation for the people in your life, knowing that your time with them is limited. Impermanence teaches us to focus on what truly matters. When you accept that life is always changing, you stop wasting energy on things that are out of your control. Instead of clinging to the past or fearing the future, you center yourself in the present. You ask yourself, what can I do right now to live fully, love deeply, and grow authentically? It's important to note that embracing impermanence doesn't mean becoming indifferent or detached from your emotions. You will still feel sadness, joy, frustration, and love. The difference is that you won't be ruled by them. When you experience happiness, you'll enjoy it without trying to hold on to it. When you face pain, you'll acknowledge it without believing it will last forever. This balance is where true peace lies. Impermanence also helps us face the ultimate reality of life, death. While this can be an uncomfortable topic, Buddhism encourages us to see it as a natural part of existence. When you understand that life is finite, you begin to live with greater urgency and purpose. You stop putting off your dreams, mending relationships, or pursuing what truly matters. Instead of fearing the end, you focus on making the most of the time you have. To practice embracing impermanence, start with mindfulness. Pay attention to the changing nature of your thoughts, feelings, and surroundings. Notice how a strong emotion, like anger or excitement, rises and falls. Observe how the seasons change, how your body grows and ages, or how conversations come and go. By becoming aware of life's constant flow, you can learn to navigate it with greater ease and wisdom. Gratitude is another powerful way to internalize impermanence. When you understand that nothing lasts forever, you begin to appreciate the people, moments, and experiences in your life more deeply. Instead of focusing on what's missing, you celebrate what you have right now, knowing it won't always be there. Impermanence is not a source of fear, it's a gift. It frees you from the chains of attachment, helps you find peace in uncertainty, and allows you to live with greater presence and intention. Everything in life, both good and bad, is part of this natural cycle. When you embrace this truth, you stop resisting change and start flowing with it. Life is precious because it's temporary. When you truly understand this, you can let go of the past, stop worrying about the future, and fully experience the beauty of the present moment. So remember, impermanence is not an obstacle. It's the foundation of freedom, gratitude, and peace. Live fully, love deeply, and embrace life as it is, ever-changing and infinitely precious. Remember, nobody cares as much as you think they do. And that's a beautiful thing. It means you are free to focus on your growth, your happiness, and your purpose. Let go of the distractions, align with your truth, live fully, unapologetically, and with mindful intention. In a world filled with constant noise, endless comparisons, and unrealistic expectations, it's easy to feel like you're falling short. That voice in your head, the one that whispers, "You're not good enough," "You'll never succeed," or "Why even try," can feel overwhelming, holding you back from becoming the person you're meant to be. But here's the truth. That voice isn't reality. It's just a story you have the power to rewrite. Imagine replacing that inner critic with a voice of confidence and compassion, one that guides you toward your goals instead of keeping you stuck. Today, we're diving into 7 powerful Buddhist-inspired lessons designed to help you destroy self-doubt, reframe your perspective, and reclaim control of your life. These are more than just ideas. They're tools you can use to transform fear into action, criticism into growth, and self-doubt into unstoppable confidence. If you're ready to silence that inner voice holding you back and step into the life you deserve, let's get started. 1. Reframe your inner critic. In Buddhism, thoughts are viewed as temporary and not a true reflection of who we are. They come and go like clouds passing through the sky, and they don't define our worth or capabilities. Your inner critic, those negative voices in your head, is simply a collection of learned beliefs and conditioned thoughts. These may come from past experiences, societal expectations, or fears. The key is to understand that these thoughts are not permanent, nor are they an absolute truth about you. Instead of fighting against your inner critic or letting it control you, approach it with compassion and curiosity. Treat it like a worried friend who needs reassurance. For example, when you hear the thought, "I can't do this," pause and ask yourself, "Is that really true?" Then, reframe it with a more empowering question like, "What if I try and see what happens?" Or, "What if this is an opportunity to grow and learn?" By shifting from self-criticism to self-inquiry, you open the door to new possibilities. This approach helps you to see challenges as opportunities rather than obstacles, transforming self-doubt into curiosity and courage. Remember, you don't have to silence your inner critic completely. You just need to change how you respond to it. 2. Take small, consistent actions. Self-doubt often thrives in the space between where we are and where we want to be. It can feel overwhelming to think about achieving a big goal or overcoming a significant challenge all at once. Buddhism teaches the value of right effort, which emphasizes steady and intentional progress rather than perfection. The key is to take small, consistent actions that move you forward, even if they seem insignificant in the moment. When you're feeling stuck or unsure of yourself, break your goals into tiny, manageable steps. For example, instead of thinking, "I have to finish this huge project," focus on one specific action. "I'll spend 10 minutes organizing my ideas." By doing this, you're not only making the task feel less daunting, but also building momentum. Consistency is what builds confidence over time. Each small action becomes a brick in the foundation of your self-belief. The more you act, the more evidence you gather that you are capable. Even small wins like completing a single step can create a ripple effect that helps silence self-doubt. Remember, it's not about how fast you move, it's about staying consistent. Small actions compound over time, and they show you that progress is always possible, even in the face of uncertainty. Every step forward, no matter how small, is proof that you're capable of overcoming self-doubt and taking control of your life. 3. Stop comparing yourself to others. One of the quickest ways to fuel self-doubt is by comparing yourself to others. In Buddhism, it's emphasized that each person's journey, or dharma, is unique. Everyone has their own path shaped by their experiences, choices, and challenges. When you compare yourself to others, you lose sight of your individuality and the progress you've made in your own life. Think of it this way: Comparing yourself to someone else is like comparing a seed to a fully grown tree. You may be at a different stage of growth, but that doesn't mean you're any less valuable or capable. Your journey is unfolding at its own pace. When you notice yourself comparing, pause and shift your focus. Ask yourself, what is one thing I'm proud of about myself? Or what progress have I made that aligns with my goals? This practice helps you celebrate your own path instead of fixating on someone else's. It's also helpful to remind yourself that what you see in others is often just the surface. People tend to share their successes, not their struggles, so you may not be seeing the full picture. Let go of the need to measure up and focus on your unique strengths, growth and potential. When you stop comparing, you free yourself to appreciate your own journey and build confidence in your abilities. 4. Embrace your imperfections. In a world that often pressures us to appear flawless, self-doubt can easily creep in when we notice our imperfections. However, Buddhism teaches us to embrace imperfection as an inherent and beautiful part of life. This idea is similar to the philosophy of wabi-sabi, which finds beauty in the incomplete, the imperfect, and the impermanent. Rather than viewing flaws as weaknesses, they can be seen as markers of growth and humanity. Imperfections make us relatable and unique. Consider this. Every crack, scar, or mistake in your life tells a story about your journey. It shows that you've tried, failed, learned, and grown. Instead of hiding or resenting your imperfections, embrace them as valuable parts of who you are. They are not obstacles to your worth. They are evidence of your resilience and courage. The path to embracing imperfections begins with letting go of the unrealistic idea of perfection. Perfection is an illusion. No one truly achieves it, no matter how polished their life might appear on the outside. Clinging to perfection only fuels self-doubt, as it sets a standard that no one can realistically meet. Instead, shift your focus from being perfect to being authentic. Ask yourself, what can I learn from my imperfections? How do they make me stronger? Self-acceptance is key. Start by noticing the language you use when you talk to yourself. Do you criticize yourself for your mistakes or shortcomings? If so, replace that criticism with compassion. For example, if you make an error, instead of thinking, "I always mess up," try saying, "This is an opportunity to learn and grow. Everyone makes mistakes, and this doesn't define me." Another way to embrace imperfection is to celebrate progress over perfection. Set realistic goals and acknowledge even small steps toward them. Celebrate the effort you put in rather than focusing solely on the outcome. This approach helps you appreciate the journey and reduces the pressure to be flawless. Remember that imperfection is what connects us to others. When you embrace your flaws, you give others permission to embrace theirs as well. You create space for authentic relationships, where vulnerability is met with understanding rather than judgment. This deep sense of connection can help dissolve self-doubt and remind you that you are enough just as you are. By embracing your imperfections, you free yourself from the constant pressure to measure up to impossible standards. You learn to see yourself with kindness, compassion, and appreciation for the beautifully imperfect being you are. This shift in perspective not only quiets self-doubt, but also allows you to live a more fulfilling and authentic life. 5. Take action even when you're scared. Fear is one of the biggest contributors to self-doubt. It tells us we're not ready, not good enough, or destined to fail. But here's a truth grounded in Buddhist teachings. Fear is a natural part of life, and courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to move forward despite it. Taking action, even when you're scared, is one of the most powerful ways to break free from self-doubt. In Buddhism, fear is viewed as a mental formation. an emotion that arises but does not define you. When fear shows up, it's not a signal to stop. It's an opportunity to grow. Instead of seeing fear as a barrier, view it as a guide pointing toward areas where you can expand your comfort zone and discover your true potential. The first step in taking action despite fear is acknowledging it without judgment. Say to yourself, "I feel scared, and that's okay." By naming your fear, you reduce its power over you. It's like shining a light into a dark corner. What seemed overwhelming starts to feel manageable. Next, focus on taking small, intentional steps rather than leaping into the unknown all at once. For example, if you're afraid of speaking in public, start by sharing your thoughts in a small group or practicing in front of a mirror. Each small step you take builds momentum, gradually quieting self-doubt and boosting your confidence. Another Buddhist principle that can help is mindfulness. When fear arises, take a moment to center yourself through your breath. Breathe in deeply, acknowledging your fear, and breathe out, releasing the tension it brings. This practice helps ground you in the present moment, where action is possible, rather than being overwhelmed by imagined outcomes. It's also important to reframe how you view mistakes or failures. Instead of seeing them as proof of inadequacy, embrace them as valuable lessons. Every action you take, successful or not, provides you with experience and insight. As the Buddha said, no effort is ever wasted. Taking action when you're scared also shifts your focus from self-doubt to self-discovery. You learn more about your capabilities and strengths by doing, not just thinking. Each step forward reveals new possibilities, and you realize that fear doesn't have to control you. Remind yourself of your deeper why. Why is this action important to you? What do you stand to gain or learn by moving forward? Keeping your purpose in mind can motivate you to take action, even when fear tries to hold you back. When you act in the face of fear, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than your doubts. Each step builds courage, confidence, and resilience. Over time, fear becomes less of an obstacle and more of a companion on your journey of growth and self-discovery. By taking action, even when you're scared, you reclaim your power and take control of your life. 6. Develop self-compassion. Self-compassion is one of the most transformative tools for overcoming self-doubt. Many of us are harder on ourselves than we would ever be on someone else. We criticize our mistakes, dwell on our perceived flaws, and question our worth. This harsh inner dialogue can paralyze us with doubt, but Buddhism teaches us the importance of metta, or loving kindness, starting with ourselves. Developing self-compassion begins with understanding that, as humans, we are inherently imperfect. The Buddha acknowledged that suffering, mistakes, and challenges are a natural part of life. Self-compassion invites us to treat ourselves with the same kindness and understanding we would offer to a dear friend in their time of need. Recognize your inner critic. The first step in developing self-compassion is recognizing your inner critic, the voice that magnifies your mistakes and doubts your abilities. Often this voice stems from fear, past experiences, or societal expectations. Instead of fighting this voice, acknowledge its presence and respond with kindness. For example, if your inner critic says, "You're not good enough," respond with, "It's okay to feel uncertain, but I'm doing my best, and that's enough." Practice mindful awareness. Buddhism emphasizes mindfulness, which helps us observe our thoughts and emotions without judgment. When self-doubt or self-criticism arises, take a moment to notice it without attaching to it. Acknowledge the feeling, but remind yourself that it's just a thought, not a reflection of your true worth. Practicing mindfulness creates space to respond with compassion rather than falling into a spiral of negativity. Speak to yourself with kindness. One powerful way to cultivate self-compassion is by changing the way you speak to yourself. Imagine you're talking to a close friend who's struggling. You wouldn't say, "You're such a failure," or "You'll never get it right." Instead, you'd say something encouraging like, "It's okay to make mistakes. You're learning and growing." Apply the same kindness to yourself. Replace self-criticism with supportive and nurturing words. For example, instead of, "I can't believe I failed at this again," try, "It's okay to fail. Every attempt is a step toward growth." Acknowledge shared humanity. Another core aspect of self-compassion is recognizing that you're not alone in your struggles. Buddhism teaches the concept of interconnectedness, the idea that we are all part of the same human experience. Everyone faces challenges, makes mistakes, and feels self-doubt at times. When you remember that your difficulties are part of being human, it becomes easier to let go of self-judgment and treat yourself with compassion. Embrace imperfections with compassion. Buddhism reminds us that life is inherently imperfect, and so are we. Instead of striving for perfection, embrace your flaws and mistakes as opportunities to grow. When you falter, remind yourself that imperfection is not a failure, it's part of the journey. Treat every stumble as a chance to learn and evolve, and approach yourself with patience and understanding. Cultivate loving kindness, metta, meditation. A practical way to deepen self-compassion is through metta meditation, which focuses on sending loving kindness to yourself and others. To begin, sit quietly and repeat affirmations like, "May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be free from suffering." As you practice, you'll notice a growing sense of warmth and kindness toward yourself. This practice can help quiet self-doubt and replace it with a deep sense of inner peace. Forgive yourself. Self-doubt often stems from dwelling on past mistakes. Forgiveness is a powerful act of self-compassion. Remind yourself that mistakes are part of being human and don't define your worth. Forgive yourself for not knowing what you didn't know before, and focus on what you've learned and how you've grown. Let go of the weight of regret and give yourself permission to move forward. Benefits of self-compassion. When you practice self-compassion, you free yourself from the cycle of self-judgment and criticism. It creates a foundation of inner strength and resilience, enabling you to face challenges with confidence. Self-compassion fosters a sense of inner peace and acceptance, making it easier to navigate life's ups and downs without being paralyzed by self-doubt. A lifelong practice. Developing self-compassion isn't something you achieve overnight. It's a lifelong practice. Start small by noticing when you're being hard on yourself and consciously choose to respond with kindness. Over time, self-compassion becomes a natural response, allowing you to build a stronger, more supportive relationship with yourself. 7. Take control of your story. The stories we tell ourselves about who we are shape how we see the world and what we believe we're capable of achieving. These internal narratives often begin in childhood, influenced by experiences, relationships, and societal expectations. Over time, they can become deeply ingrained, fueling self-doubt and limiting our potential. Buddhism teaches that we are not our thoughts. We are the awareness behind them, and this gives us the power to change our stories. Recognize the stories you tell yourself. The first step to taking control of your story is identifying the narratives that hold you back. Pay attention to the self-talk that surfaces when you face challenges or make mistakes. Are you telling yourself, "I'm not good enough, I always mess things up," or "I'll never succeed"? These stories may feel true, but they're often based on fear, past failures, or assumptions rather than reality. Once you recognize these limiting beliefs, challenge them. Ask yourself, Is this story based on facts, or is it just an old belief? What evidence do I have that contradicts this thought? If I were telling this story about a friend, would it be fair or accurate? This process helps you see your stories for what they are, constructs that can be reimagined and rewritten. Rewrite your narrative. Buddhism emphasizes the importance of mindfulness, being present and observing your thoughts without attachment. When you notice a negative story, consciously choose to rewrite it in a way that empowers you. For example, instead of "I'm a failure," say, "I made a mistake, but I'm learning and improving." Instead of "I'm not talented enough," say, "I can develop my skills with time and effort." Reframing your story isn't about ignoring challenges or pretending everything is perfect. It's about focusing on your potential and recognizing that you have the power to change and grow. Take ownership of your journey. In Buddhism, the concept of karma reminds us that our actions shape our reality. You are not a passive participant in your life. You are the author of your story. By taking ownership of your actions and choices, you reclaim your power and begin to steer your life in the direction you want to go. Start by setting small, achievable goals that align with the story you want to tell. Each step you take reinforces your new narrative and builds confidence. For instance, if your new story is, "I am capable of learning new things," take an action that supports this, like starting a new hobby, enrolling in a course, or tackling a challenge you've avoided. Let go of the past. Many of the stories we cling to are rooted in past experiences. Buddhism teaches the importance of letting go of attachments to the past, recognizing that it does not define your future. Holding on to regrets or past failures only keeps you trapped in a cycle of self-doubt. Instead, use those experiences as lessons to inform your growth. Ask yourself, what can I learn from my past experiences? How can they make me stronger? By reframing your past as a source of wisdom rather than a weight, you free yourself to write a brighter future. Cultivate gratitude and self-reflection. Taking control of your story also involves acknowledging and celebrating the positive aspects of your life. Practice gratitude by reflecting on what you've accomplished, the challenges you've overcome, and the strengths you've developed along the way. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's missing to what's already working, reinforcing a positive and empowering narrative. Regular self-reflection is another powerful tool. Set aside time to journal or meditate on questions like, what kind of person do I want to be? What steps can I take today to align with that vision? What limiting beliefs can I let go of to move forward? These practices help you stay aligned with the story you want to live. Embrace your role as the author. Ultimately, taking control of your story is about realizing that you have the power to shape your reality. You are not defined by your circumstances, your mistakes, or the opinions of others. You are defined by the choices you make and the narrative you choose to embrace. Buddhism reminds us that change is always possible. Just as the Buddha transformed his life through understanding and action, you can rewrite your story to reflect your true potential. Every day is an opportunity to begin anew, to let go of self-doubt, and to step into a narrative of confidence, growth, and possibility. By taking control of your story, you free yourself from limiting beliefs and open the door to a life of purpose and empowerment. You become the author of a story filled with courage, resilience, and self-belief, one where you're no longer held back by self-doubt, but guided by your inner strength and vision. Thank you for watching. These 7 lessons are practical tools to destroy self-doubt and reclaim your life. Which lesson resonated most with you? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring content. Until next time, take care and keep moving forward with confidence.